Hey guys, welcome to Marcus Loves Movies and welcome to my Things Heard and Seen movie review. It's a brand new horror thriller film which is available to watch on Netflix. I watched it this bank holiday weekend and I hope you had a good bank holiday weekend too, by the way. Can I just say thank you for checking out this review. If you do like movie reviews, if you do like trailer reactions and film discussion, can I encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because this is where I do all of that good stuff and I would really appreciate it if you could support the channel. But anyway, let's talk about Things Heard and Seen. So here is a plot outline for the film. After moving to a small town with her husband, a young artist begins to suspect that their home harbours a dark secret. It stars Amanda Seyfried, James Norton and Natalia Dyer, and it's directed by Shari Berman and Robert Pulcini, and it's based on the novel All Things Cease to Appear. So let me break it down for you. What we've got here is a haunted house movie. And just like most haunted house movies, you've got a lovely young family who've relocated into a property that they believe is going to be their dream home. But then things start to go bump in the night. Then we see the little kid who is freaked out by weird things, weird crashes, weird bangs, weird sounds, weird apparitions in the corner of a room. And we're trying to figure out why this property is haunted. And like most haunted house movies, we're going to spend most of the film trying to figure out why this particular property is haunted. So at the heart of this film, we've got this young couple called George and Catherine Clark, who are played by James Norton and Amanda Seyfried. And the reason that they're moving is because he's got a brand new position as a college professor. So he's really excited about that. He's really excited about moving his family to this new town and this new property. Her, on the other hand, she is moving reluctantly because she's an artist and she's leaving behind a life and a location that she's familiar with and she really likes. So that's an interesting dynamic. She immediately feels like she's living in his shadow, so they're not in a good place. Their child keeps having these bad dreams and night terrors, so quite often their child ends up sleeping in their marital bed. He's disappointed by that because he feels like it's affecting their sex life, and then he starts looking at other women, which is never a good thing to do. We also know that she has an eating disorder, so she's battling her own personal demons as well as feeling quite lonely within their marriage. So it's not a good look, but as characters, those are interesting characters immediately. So you almost feel like if this film had no haunted house elements, no freaky elements to it, as a character study, those guys would be really interesting to look at. Now, I really liked the first half of this film. I liked how it was building up. I liked the slow introduction of horror elements. I liked what the supporting characters were doing to build the story. I liked the fact that little parts of the plot were being revealed, characters were being introduced, and that made you think, oh, that's interesting. Oh, well, now I look at George differently. Now I look at Catherine differently. Those things were really good to build the film up. So an hour in, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Maybe even an hour 20 in, I'm thinking this is at least a 4-star movie. This is really good. But what I would say is the final payoff, and I'm not going to spoil the ending, but that last sort of 30 minutes, 40 minutes of the film, it's a 2-hour film, I didn't think did the first hour and 20 justice. I personally felt a bit disappointed with the last stages of the film. Now, this isn't to say that, don't watch it because it's not worth seeing. You watch it for yourself and you judge for yourself. You decide what you think. I just feel like this film was building to something that was really good and it didn't quite match what I think the first part of the film promised. I do think some of those key characters are they were really well developed. I thought Seyfried especially, I thought her character in terms of the eating disorder, in terms of the loneliness, the sense of losing parts of her husband, or that couple becoming more and more distant whilst living in the same property, going to bed at night, being awake, not touching each other, the child coming into the marital bed, the friction and the stress and all of that was causing. I thought all of that was done really well. I thought Norton's character as well, we expect him to be a nice guy because often when you have these horror films, you're fully supporting that couple, that family, you want them all to be all right, but you see, actually, he's not a nice guy particularly, and that's interesting. And that's why I say you almost could have just focused on this couple and this family without any of the horror elements, and it still would have been interesting. So he did a really good job. It was nice to see Rhea Seehorn on screen as well, because although I know she's done lots of films and she's been in lots of television programs, I mainly know her as Kim from Better Call Saul, so it was nice to see her. She did a really good job as well. In terms of the production, I thought there was some really nice camera work. The film opens up with a nice steady cam shot, a nice unbroken shot where we're seeing what the Clark family are like. They're celebrating their child's birthday, and the way that's handled is really nice. And that scene opens up into us discovering that there's an eating disorder that Catherine Clark is suffering from. So I thought that was done really well. There are some nice bits of camera work where a character is disorientated later in the film, and the way that's handled is done really well. On the downside, there was a couple of CGI moments that I thought were a little bit weak, because in a horror film that feels quite gritty, it feels old school because it's set in the 1980s. There was some CGI in there that I just thought was a bit unnecessary, or I could tell it looked cheesy. So that was a bit of a downer. Also, like I said, I watched this on a bank holiday, and I watched it in the middle of the day, and I was thinking, oh, well, this is a horror film. I should be watching it at night, really. Maybe I should have watched this film again at night, and maybe it would have been more scary. But like I say, how the film ends and the payoff, I thought, well, that's not massively scary at all. I know we all are scared by different things, but for me, it wasn't massively scary. So if you're after a horror film, if you're after something that's going to freak you out, well, we're all different, aren't we? It might freak you out. I didn't think it was that freaky. I didn't think it was massively scary. And unfortunately, despite having a great build-up, I thought the final stages of the film were a bit of a letdown. So not as great as I thought it would be. So my official Marcus Loves Movies rating for the movie Things Heard and Seen is, mini drum roll, 3 stars. Those are my thoughts about the film. If you've seen the film already, please, let's have a bit of a conversation. Tell us what you thought of the film as well. Would you highly recommend the film Things Heard and Seen, or do you feel like this is a film that is better not heard or seen? Did you really like the performances of James Norton and Amanda Seyfried, or do you feel like there are other films that are worth watching instead? Please leave a comment underneath this video. Please give this video a like, and can I encourage you, like I said at the start, please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like your movie reviews and film discussion and trailer reactions, because this is the place where I do all of that good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Please tune in again for the next time that I release one of these movie reviews, and I look forward to catching up with you again. So until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.